Hi, I've recently been inspired by Chris Packham's infrared photography, so I decided to experiment after seeing some of his close-ups of leaves and things. So these first few shots are inspired by Chris, and I had great fun getting in close to the grass and the leaves on holiday. So my usual method of editing to get from how my infrared photograph starts, which is like this, is in Photoshop you simply go to Image Adjustments, Channel Mixer, and you pick the one with the red filter, and this is what you end up with. I decided to crop the bottom of this image just to tidy it up a little bit and give it a better weighting. But I'm now starting to experiment with different methods of editing my infrared photography. As you can see, the sea and water seems to capture really well in infrared. And here's an example of some different editing I did to this image just to give it a bit more impact. I think this image has lost some of its softness and atmosphere through me editing it so harshly, and I actually prefer the original one, but it's really interesting to see just how many different looks you can get with different editing techniques. So I've recently gone back to some of my old infrared photography that I took in the Lake District and different places, and I've been experimenting with the editing, and I'd like to share something that I've been doing to retain some of the colour in the images, so you get that nice yellow of the sky. And I've experimented with lots of different ways of doing this, but one of the ways I've been doing it, which is quite a simple way, is in Photoshop. Please excuse wobbly screen, by the way. I will get a screen recorder one day, but just for now, bear with me. You go Image Adjustments, Hue and Saturation, and then you only saturate the reds. So you do get some of this yellow left, and some of the different tones and colours left in the image, which is it gives quite a nice effect, I've found. The other thing I'd just like to talk about, which I've mentioned before in previous videos, is how infrared photography can make eyes and people look a little bit spooky, as you can see here. The eyes go very, very dark. So I'd just like to show you some ways around this if you enjoy capturing people in infrared. Simply get them looking away from the camera. So if they're not looking directly into the lens, you're not going to have that spooky eye look. So capturing them from a distance, more of a natural shot rather than a posed shot, and just be creative with it. We can have fun with portrait photography while we're out and about, and just think outside the box. As you can see here, I've actually added some lens blur to the background of this image, just because my depth of field wasn't shallow enough, so it left it a little bit confusing to the eye with the detail of the rocks behind him. I was a little bit lazy with it, and what I should have really done was left some of the stones and the smaller rocks in the foreground sharper, but yeah, as I say, it was a bit of a quick job just to show you how effective the lens blur tool is in Photoshop. Of course, a shallow depth of field is easier to create if you're closer to the foreground, and you can create distance between the foreground and the background. That will make shallow depth of field much, much easier. So as you can see, a really, really bright sky with a few fluffy clouds in works particularly well for infrared photography. Look at that beautiful light on John's shoulder and in his hair. As you can see again, Josh's eyes are looking a little bit spooky. A particularly good way around this with portrait photography, if you have two subjects, is to get them looking at each other. just like to finish up by showing you a shot taken with my infrared camera at night. I thought it coped really well. I've got a Nikon D200 which I had converted years ago. I can't remember the exact conversion that I had done, but this was taken with my 50mm prime lens on 1.4 at a 13th of a second, which I managed to hold still. And as you can see, it's not bad at all. Always a good idea to carry a tripod when you're doing night photography. I had forgotten mine on this occasion, so I was quite impressed that I managed to get some quite impressive shots. So please stay tuned, and I will experiment some more soon and tell you my findings. Have a great day. Bye.